Jasmine and I will come back on. We will hold our last drawing of the day, and we'll give away some more stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want to interrupt right now. I want to let these guys get straight to it. But if you want to do any retweeting of that bit.ly/Jasmine Star link, now is the time to do it. We will be coming back at the end of this little segment, which is basically going to be debrief and questions with the internet.
Definitely.
So without further ado, there you go.
Good. Thank you. I know that we had a chance just to talk, but I think that people who are watching on the internet want to know a little bit behind the scenes. So I want you guys to feel completely at liberty to talk about what it was in about 5 seconds, because I definitely want to get to internet questions. That's going to be a top priority for me. But like, what could we have done better? Collectively, me, what did you guys like, or what didn't work, or whatever? Anything? Oh, we need mics. Sachin.
Cool. Hey, for me, first of all, that was amazing. Jasmine, you completely did super well. I can't believe you did all those things in one go. That was incredible. But for me, what I always struggle with is I try and find a few different poses in different locations, and I was just blown away by how great it was that you could do certain shots, certain looks, and go wide and then go in and see so many different things in just one location. For me, that was amazing. Great. Because I usually, when we take out brides and grooms and stuff, when we take them out, we spend a lot of time with them. We spend an hour and a half maybe even. And yesterday you said, you spend 20 minutes, and I was like, really? Wow, how do you do that? And I just saw it there, and that was amazing. So
Thank you.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you. I think that means a lot, and I think that was I was noticing on Twitter people were asking how I got experience like that, and I think you learn on the fly. I didn't necessarily learn how to shoot like that, except when you only have 25 minutes and you need to get a portfolio worth of bride and groom pictures. You have no other option but to make it work. So seeing what we saw today, and the thing that I'm really excited about is that the environment that we're shooting in right now. Because what I do get sometimes criticized for is they say, oh, Jasmine can easily shoot those pictures because she's shooting in a really gorgeous location with really opulent things. And to a large degree, I don't disagree. But to another large extent, what we're shooting in now is a warehouse. And this is as simple Americana as it can get. And of course, there's a lot of hard work that has gone into this. But in this brick wall, in this warehouse, across the street, against an ivy wall, in an alley, these are all places that are traditionally overlooked as just thinking these are mediocre locations and nothing to do. And I think that we showed collectively how we can work and take very simple landscapes and turn them into something extraordinary. And I'm really proud of all of you guys. I put you guys under fire, and you guys went onto the World Wide Web, and you guys showed people what you did. So thank you for doing that. That's huge. Yes, a round of applause. Seriously, there are people back here clapping for you guys. That was hard, but I have to say it was so nice to get off camera for a sec. I was so happy to see you guys under pressure. I was like, see, that's hard. Why don't we take a couple questions? The crew from Creative Live asked me to stand next to the monitor so that they can get a shot of both myself and the questions that appear. So I'll be rotating between in-class questions and monitor questions. So let's go to a question, an in-class question.
An in-class
or Twitter, if it's Twitter.
Okay, I have a Twitter question. It is Holly True is asking, notice that you didn't really fix Laura's dress too often. Is that normal? Or was her dress well behaved?
That's Holly. I know Holly. She's from Oregon. And another thing too is people who comment often on my blog, I feel like we become friends. And so I met Holly actually in real life in Oregon. I happen to speak in Oregon. And so whenever her name comes up, it's nice to say hello. So hi, Holly. And no, I don't really fix the bride's dress all that much. I kind of like imperfections. To me, it's kind of revealing of natural storytelling. Clearly, if it's snagged up, but I really, it irks me when the dress is fanned out perfectly and like this. It's so awkward to me. I don't really feel like that's life. Life isn't perfect. So no, I don't really fluff the dress all that much. Another
question from the chat room.
Good.
The person asking said this one's a biggie. And they go on to say, photographers are usually their own worst critics. What do you think your weakest point in photography is, and what would you want to change or make better?
Okay. I feel like my weakness is being artistic, being like that deep, that raw, dirty, earthy connection that some photographers can get that I can't. I don't know how to get down and bring out this organic sense of somebody. What I can bring out is fun, is life, is beautiful. But there's sometimes that I look at other photographers and I think, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you reach in and that evocative, dark, contrasty feel that I find beautiful and that other like artistic magazines sometimes feel. I don't have that. So that's probably my biggest thing that I could work on. I just don't know how to get there. So, but I think a lot of it has to do with post-processing. I post-process so that it looks like a photo, and a lot of times other darker, evocative photographers Photoshop and run filters and stuff that help that achieve that look. But that's probably my biggest criticism.
And earlier, some folks on the internet were asking if you were going to go over any of your post-processing.
That will likely happen after the wedding.
Right.
We're going to try to. It's not going to be extensive.
Right.
This class, and I'll say it now and I'll say it probably 5 more times, it's not a post-processing class. There are people who do Photoshop far better than I do. I probably know 3 tools in Photoshop. That's all I needed to know. So I will show you all I know, but it ain't much. So an in-class question.
I saw one up there which pertains to me. What happens when you freeze up out there?
Did you freeze up?
I did.
You did? Okay,
Yeah.
don't worry. We have all of tomorrow too. That's a good thing. That's a total good thing. And the fact that you actually own up to it is big, because we're on the internet and nobody ever wants to admit a fault. If you froze up, I will say congratulations. It's good that you made a mistake while somebody else was the main photographer. Congratulations for admitting it, and congratulations for not revealing that you were stuck. That's the hardest part, because you could have been like, froze up and just say, I don't want to do it. No, it's okay. Pass on me. But you didn't. You pushed yourself through and you let it go. Tomorrow, now you know what you're going to be up against. And up against, in the most esoteric terms, don't let it shake you. Okay. What was the exact question, though?
The question was, what do you do when your mind goes blank? That's
okay, so what do you do when your mind goes blank? I toss it to JD. I'm just like, okay, JD, like, can you do it now? And I just need, this happened to me outside. We were by the ivy, and I felt like I got stuck. I probably ran through dog poo. I'm not even lying. I'm so not even lying. I was a little bit out of sorts. The light was changing a lot. I felt like I have a couple against Ivy. Come on, Jasmine. Against Ivy? Like, do something here. And I was like, Sachin, homie, go right ahead. And I was just like, so I can keep it real now, but out there, don't reveal, right? It's like, keep it together, keep it together. Laura and Billy trust us not to screw up. So he took over, I took a step back, I went to JD, and I tell him, like, I'm just not feeling it. Something's not right here. And I turn over this way, and he's with the couple here against the ivy, but then again, when I put them over that barbed wire by like the grapevines, I saw light coming through the grapevines, and anytime I see light, I'm just like, what can I do there? And it just so happened that the grapevines made like an M arch. And I placed 2 subjects within the M arch, and then I felt like, okay, now we're back. I don't ever feel like I get stuck for like an hour. Sometimes you just need to like take a step back and see the situation, and that's really good when you have a second shooter. If you don't have a second shooter, on an engagement session, I only shoot by myself. And whenever I have these, I'm stuck. Okay, I actually shouldn't reveal this online, but whatever it is, what it is. I call it the twirl. Anytime I revert to the twirl, it's panic mode, I'm buying time. So I'll be like, okay, Billy, get Laura and just twirl her. Okay, when I'm in twirl mode, that's like snap, that's like you just have to focus and snap, and you're just thinking, what can I do? I revert to the twirl. So anytime you're stuck, revert to the twirl. It'll buy you some time. So do you primarily use center focal point while shooting? And that's from Ask Jasmine. I don't know who sent that via Twitter. I lost it. But I actually rotate my focus points. If I feel like there's a certain focal point that's not biting the way that I need to, I'll use my center focal point, shift, compose, and then shift. Shift and recompose. Between every frame, I'm focusing. because I shoot wide open, there's a larger margin of error in regards to not getting something in focus. I'm focusing, shooting, focusing, shooting, focusing, shooting between every single frame. Because in the case that I do miss that shot at a 1.2 in movement, I'm right the next blip second, I'm focusing and shooting. And higher likelihood is if I do miss that first shot, the second shot's nice and tight. Are there any other questions right now?
There's always questions, Jasmine.
So then when you shoot, are you in kind of like drive mode? So you don't just like shoot and then just hold down. It's like, it's literally shoot one shot.
My camera is programmed to one shot.
Okay, cool.
So yes, I'm not in continuous. So I think that helps with my, at least how I focus. People always ask, because I'm shooting wide open, if I get a lot of out of focus photos. I get out of focus photos, but I don't think in any higher proportion than any other person who's shooting it, like an f4. It's just how I've chosen to shoot.
Jasmine, can I ask how many of the brides do a first look?
About 85% of my brides do a first look, which is a huge, huge, huge thing. I mean, this year I have only had, I don't think this year I've had a couple, I had one couple who didn't see each other before. But so far, I mean, I'm halfway through the year, and to only have that for one couple, but I think it goes back to the idea of me constantly blogging and showcasing what type of pictures I'm able to get having done a first look. The more that you can do that, or the more time, and if you'll notice that when I'm blogging and a couple does a first look, I'm not just saying they saw each other before the ceremony. I'm like, Laura and Billy opted to see each other for the first look. I love, love, love when clients do this. This is such a great thing to get better pictures, a more relaxed environment, and allow you to embrace the party. Every time I am reinforcing, and I hyperlink back to an article that I wrote about the first look, just in case there's somebody reading for that prospective client who's like, what's a first look? Every single post, when I mention it, I link back to the first look so nobody's left in question, what is this idea of a first look? Educate, educate, educate. And then when people can then make their own decision, and for some reason we've let wives' tales of you can't see each other before the ceremony set up this like notion that it's not as special. And I am happy to say that I could speak from first experience, that when I saw JD, it was amazing. It was just the two of us. And God, I love my family, and he loves his family. But just for that moment, it was just the two of us. And then after, it was like, we've waited 8.5 years to get to this point, and now it is just me and you. And when you could talk to your clients about that during the first meeting, I'm always talking about a first look. I will then drop it though. I don't say, I think you should do this. I share my experience, leave it at that, and then hopefully they can then go and make a decision on their own, prompted by nobody else but themselves. Are you focusing manual or auto? I have my lens set on that. I think that was from Bunny Trails. It was? Great. Bunny Trails asked if I'm focusing manual or auto. I'm an auto focus, but I shoot in manual mode. Just for clarification. How long did it take you to master shooting completely manual? This is Jamila New. It took me, I would guess, before I felt confident shooting for weddings, it took me about, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months. But that was with a lot of practice in between. And if you, I think I said this on the first day, and maybe I didn't. I don't know. If I repeat myself, I'm sorry. But like, when we look at people playing the French Open, I don't think Roger Federer picks up his racket the day he's going to compete. He is practicing months, then weeks. He's practicing the day before he's going to compete to win this championship. And so we as photographers want to say, I'm just going to wake up and slam it out of the ballpark on the wedding day. No, it takes warming up. It takes confidence. I actually had, strangely this year, I had 3 Saturdays off in a row, which initially panicked me because I was like, I've never had 3, Saturdays off in a row in the summer. Like, what's going on? But all of a sudden, when you're in high mode, you're in high drive, shooting every weekend, and then you get 3 weekends off. This happened in June. I felt like before I went back to that wedding the following weekend, I felt like I was out of sorts. I'm like, I haven't been working for 8 hours. I'm not in my mode. And thankfully, I had a friend who needed a second shooter. And so I offered to second shoot with her. And I felt like it jumpstart me back into where I need to be for the shoot the following weekend. So anytime that you can just go out, take your kids out, take your dog out, take your cats out. You have how many cats, Victoria? You can take turns with them every day of the week. Take them out and just shoot them. Shoot them side lit, shoot them back lit, shoot them from the front, shoot them from the side, shoot them in shade tree. Don't reveal your light sources. Give yourself projects to do to get busy so that by the time you're given like a real life subject, you can approach it confidently.
So
Yes.
speaking of pets, I had a funny question yesterday from Jumping Fences, and she asked, have you ever had a bride and groom include a pet in their wedding? And if so, how did you handle that?
I think I have. It's fun. I mean, I think it works for me because I'm a dog lover. Any size dog, any shaped dog, even if it's a little mutt, there's something about this little creature. So I look at the dog the way that I would look at my own dog. And so I treat the dog, and so anybody who's afraid of dogs clearly shows when they're afraid of dogs. So I just go down to my knees, and I get all Caesar Milian, you know? It's like, I'm like the dog whisperer, and then you let the dog like lick you and sniff you, and then you rub the little dog, and even if you don't think it's a cute dog, the owners think the dog is so cute, they invited it to the wedding, made it part of the wedding party. So you got to get on your knees and think that that dog is the cutest dog in the world. Love on the dog, hug the dog, let the dog trust you, and then work it into the photos as best you see fit. Those photos are probably not going to be like your shining beacon of awesomeness. Know that, shoot it to get it done, and then move on.
I don't know if you want to answer this question,
Oh,
but
why are you giving me all the hard ones?
it's just in my nature. The back focus button.
Oh, yeah.
People want to know if you use it.
I do.
Okay.
I focus back button focusing.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that at all, or it is what it is?
It is what it is,
Okay,
I think.
sounds
Is
good.
there like a trick to it? Yes. So the question was if I focus and recompose using the back button focus. I do. I've gotten used to focusing with my back button focus. I feel like if I had to, meter and focus with the same button, I feel like it was confusing when I first started out. So somebody had mentioned the back button focusing, and I switched it to back button focusing. And now that I'm not so concerned with metering and camera, because I'm looking at the LCD, I feel like I have more control when I focus behind a camera. Personal preference. There's no right or wrong. It's just what I choose. Sometimes if I feel like when I'm shooting at a 1.2, so as everybody was shooting today, when you guys took the first shooter position, I fell into second shooter. I wanted to challenge myself, what can I do? And part of that challenge always, whenever I'm a second shooter, I will shoot at a 1.2 as long as I can. I want to challenge myself. I want to get so good with the 1.2 that I'm confident in saying, on a wedding day, I will shoot at a 1.2 and I will feel good at a 1.2. I will confidently approach the 1.2. So as you guys were shooting, I went into second shooter mode, and sometimes at a 1.2, I have to use the center focal point and then shift and recompose because it just bites a little bit better.
I have a clarification question from Vivid Moments on Twitter. And she asked, what do you mean by don't reveal your light source? Because you were talking a lot about that
Okay,
issue.
so don't reveal the light source. Camera crew, can I walk over to the side? Okay, cool. So when I talk about not revealing the light source, it's just basically my personal preference. Some photographers will reveal like hot spots in their picture, and sometimes I do too because I can't get away from it. But what a light source would be in this particular situation, the sun is coming in from the window. It's coming down on the floor. The floor is really, really hot. I do not want to include this portion of the floor in my photo because this has become the light source. The light source is bouncing light onto my face. When I say don't reveal the light source, only shoot me from my feet up. Do not pull back the camera in such a way that you can showcase the hot floor, the normal bounce light floor, and myself. Not revealing the light source is cutting out the hot spot on the floor and only shooting me. That's not revealing the light source. That was it. What great timing.
I have another question.
Yes.
And I know you kind of already answered this, but as far as outsourcing your post processing, do you feel like you lose creative control when you're doing that?
The honest answer is no, I don't think so. And I can only say I don't think so is because I outsourced it so early in my career. I would say that if you had been doing this for like 4 years and you want to relinquish control to somebody else, it might be difficult. But for me, remember what I said, I had so much to learn in the beginning that I decided I literally had 18,000 things to learn. So I just picked the things I wanted to learn, which was primarily photography, and I didn't want to learn Bridge, and I didn't want to have to be relegated to learn Lightroom, and I just outsourced it. I worked it into my collection, and sure, my first year in my earlier collections, I wasn't as profitable, but those are fixed costs. The fixed costs for me have remained the same from literally year 1 to now year 4, but my collections have increased exponentially, and my profitability has soared as a result of that. And I think that because I let go of a lot, it allowed me to grow faster. Not for everybody, but simply what I do. And I don't do a lot of Photoshop. That's the thing. So it's not like they're getting like skin retouching and like a lot of like soft, like glossy and blur, and then all of a sudden they just have normal like processed photos. My Photoshop is very, very, very simple. And when you go through something with Lightroom, I try to shoot in a way, again, with reflected light, with soft lighting from behind them, that anytime you run an action or anytime you run a process through Lightroom, it's going to produce an image that is very, very, very similar, just a tad bit nicer. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I feel like I'm talking so much.
Can we talk about overhead? I don't know.
Overhead?
Yeah, as far as, you know, your business and your costs that go
Yeah,
out.
I run a very lean business. I don't really want to pay for anything in excess that's not moving me forward. So I feel that the cost it takes for an album designer to design me an album. My album designer charges a little bit more, but she's all inclusive. I don't have to think about a thing when she designs my albums. She charges $10 a side. For me, for her to design the album, and she gets the album back to me in 3 to 4 days. I use Amy at albumesque.com. A little shout out there for her. She charges $10 a side. Now, at the end of the day, I'm sometimes paying her $400 for her to design an album for me. Some people hear $400 and they're like, that's so much money. And it is. But the fact of the matter is, it would take me, it would take me, I don't even know, God, like maybe 4 hours to design an album. Then the bride would come back, and if she had changes, it might take me another 2 hours to design the album. It might take me, I don't know, 30 minutes to upload the order. It might take me another 30 minutes to process the order. So the time it actually takes me just to design the album would roughly be 7 to 8 hours, which works out to be $50 an hour. I have to know that whatever I'm doing elsewhere will yield me more profitability than sitting on my bum, hating the fact that I'm working on the album for $50 an hour. It's probably even more than that, especially in the beginning. When I was trying to learn how to design albums, it wouldn't take me 4 hours to design an album. To work in like 60 or 70 photos on a 40-page album, it's just, or however it ended up being at the time, too much time. I was not profitable, so it became an easy business decision. Let it go. So that, so in regards to that, anything that I feel like I can yield more profitability, I'm actually more profitable by me blogging than I would be designing an album. I have to believe that because I'm going after new clients. I'm not taking care of my current clients. So in regards to that, so I outsource. So an average outsourcing for me, because I work with Photographers Edit. If you use the code JSTAR2010, you'll get 20% off your first order. But we're going to be doing a giveaway for that on another day. We're really excited for that. For me, I leave it all outsourced to them. I don't want to think about it. When I send the hard drive to Photographers Edit with the images that I have selected, it's roughly running me around, you can get an entire wedding edited for around $275. But because I want them to upload for me, I want them to recategorize, I want them to put in new folders for me, I want them to put it into the client gallery, it's roughly going to cost me $350 to $400 per wedding. That is a fixed cost, though. I've already worked that into the collection. How many hours would it take for me to process a wedding? Some people are really good, and it takes about a day, maybe 7 hours, 8 hours, and I'm just thinking, but who has 8 hours just to sit? So maybe they have 3 hours one day, and they have 2 hours the next day, and they have 4 hours the next day. So that's divided over 3 days. But what if you've got to shoot in one of the 3 days? So then that pushes you back that other day, so it's already 4 days behind, and then all of a sudden you get an emergency call, and then it pushes the edit, and then you have a backlog of all these edits that you have to get to. I was like, forget that. I would rather just pay to have somebody do a better job at what they do. So fixed costs would be like outsourcing, $350 to $400. Album design around $400. The cost of the album itself, depending on the collection, will roughly run me around $1,500, $1,600. I charge into the collection if a client wants to get a disc of digital negative. It's $850 a la carte. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to sublet a sublet a studio space, so I'm not paying for overhead for a place I don't even really want to work. I work from home. We run a very lean company. I know how much I take home from every wedding that I do, and I think that we have to do that. So I'm also charging taxes on top of the collection, and I have it taken out every single month. I have a bookkeeper, and I have a CPA. I'm outsourcing my life because I want a life. I want to be able to, at the end of the month, I get a balance sheet. I get a profit and loss, I get a balance sheet, I know where we are financially. I want to run a profitable and healthy company. I'm running a company, and I'm a photographer. I'm not really anything else. That was a long answer again, too. Does anybody feel like I'm rapping? I'm like, I'm running a company and da-da-da-da-da-da. I was like, somebody give me something.
Maybe you should.
No, I know, I'm totally not a rapper. Okay, how do you get both the bride and groom when you have no second shooter? Okay, great question. Oh, bunny trails. Okay, wow, she's just bringing them out there. Okay, how do I get both the bride and groom? It's not as advantageous for me not to have a second shooter. And if you don't have a second shooter, get one. There are tons of photographers who actually, oh, baby, you just dropped my phone. JD just dropped my phone and he was trying to pretend like she didn't see that. If you don't have a second shooter, get one. There are photographers out there who will do it for free. And you will build relationships, and hopefully you'll learn how to trust other people and help build the community. If in the case that you can't get one or you actually don't want one, I would set up the bride and groom in one location, have them set up, have the groom look here and the bride's looking off this way, and then rotate your way around the bride so that she becomes the focus, he becomes the back focus, and in that case, you're getting both of them. It takes a little bit longer, and it's not as natural or sincere, but either way, you just have to be the rotating point between that. Sachin.
I've got another quick question.
Yes.
In London, from what I understand, a lot of bride and grooms want albums after a wedding, and which to me would have been obvious and stuff like that. But from what I understand, in Vancouver, a lot of couples don't really want an album, and everyone's kind of shifting towards just handing over a CD with the images edited and stuff like that. But I really want to push an album because at the end of the day, in 10, 15, 20 years, that's what you're going to look at. You're not going to look on Facebook and say,
Right.
oh, here's that
agree.
shot and things like that.
I agree.
So what do you think I should do to recommend to a bride and groom that, you really need to get an album now? And, because I can give those reasons, but it's a cost thing right now.
Yeah, include it in your collection or include it in your package
Just
or
have
your
it there
pricing.
straight off.
Yeah, because I agree. I think that there's no better way to showcase the wedding. I mean, I was talking to Chase a couple days ago on air, and he had said that when you look through an advertisement or you look through his book, like literally his book is our album. Like my clients are walking portfolio pieces. I don't want them to bring up their uncalibrated PC and be like, so this photo, and hold on, let me click over 300 photos to get to the family's formals. I want to have the album. That's going to be a main thing. And in order to sell an album, you literally have to show clients what they don't know they want. Furthermore, what they don't know they need. When you can showcase an album, so what happens is sometimes when clients are interested and they email me, I will send them slideshows of my work so they can get an experience of it. And I will have sample albums from the slideshow links that I have sent to them, so when they come into the studio to actually look physically at a product, I can say, you saw the slideshows, you saw how the pictures looked online, now you can see them in person. Huge difference.
That's the exact same shots as well. Okay.
Yeah. So it works really well to show somebody what something looks online to versus what something can show in the beginning. Now a lot of times photographers think like you have to get these massive albums for your clients. And I do like 11 by 14 or 12 by 12 albums for my clients. Now I do think that they're in that pricing structure to afford things like that. But when I first started, I had smaller albums, 8 by 10. An 8 by 10 album is still very pretty. It's very nice, classy, classic. Start with maybe something like a smaller album that clients can say, oh, well, that just might be, $850, $1,000. I think we can kind of scrounge it up for that thing and include it within your collection. I think it's going to be a total selling point. Nate. Nate Perks.
Nate Perks. All right. Quick question. A lot of people know I'm from Star, Idaho, which is just outside of Boise. Boise is, I'm estimating, like 350,000 people. Would you recommend to someone that's from a smaller town that's not like LA area to try to market to bigger cities close to me, or put all my eggs kind of in that basket of trying to market towards Boise? Or would you recommend I go down to Salt Lake, or I kind of head over to California for some shoots? What would you recommend for someone that's from a smaller town still trying to build their business?
Well, remember, I don't really have any strategic type of marketing. I'm just still a lot of myself. what happened, what I think the biggest piece of marketing that I have that I will subscribe again and again and again and again to are my slideshows. If you've been to my blog, you will start off with the story. You'll go through a series of pictures, and at the end, I will say, if you'd like to see more of their pictures, please click here for a slideshow. It takes them to a new link, and what that link has become is a feature of their photos, in our perspective. But what our clients see is a division of their day. So what are they going to do with the division of their day that's set to really cool music that they really like and all these pictures of their friends and their family? They're going to email it to their friends and their family. So the Nate Perks slideshow / commercial is going out to their network of 150, 200 people, all with this email that says, these are my wedding photos. And I don't think that your bride is going to be like, my photographer totally sucked, but look at my awesome slideshow. She's going to say something, my photographer is cool, he's fun, he's the best, he works with his wife, look how awesome he did. Or, look at my wedding photos, period. And then there's a link. She's encouraging people to say, everybody, watch a Nate Perks commercial starring me and my husband. That right there will get you into Boise, it will get you into Salt Lake, because that goes to her sorority sisters that moved a half hour away, it goes to her cousins that live in Boise. That type of viral marketing has done wonders for me. So if you want to move out of your little region, slideshows, slideshows, slideshows. Cool. And that's what I embed in Facebook. Remember in those plus sites that I was talking about? What I include in the plus site is not picture gallery, is a slideshow, because the slideshows are what the things that go viral.
Building off that, question from HP Photography in Chicago is, do you tell a story with your albums or show the photos chronologically?
I would hope that it's both. I don't know. I mean, I request that the designer show the pictures chronologically because it just doesn't really make sense to start off with the ceremony and somehow work its way back to preparation. I think that works beautifully for video. I see some of the best videographers who think outside the box and they overlay like the vows. They start with the vows and then they put like the vows to like just the audio to the vows while the girl is getting ready. Oh, that's so sick. I love it. For photography, it doesn't really make sense. Like she starts off like all cute and done up and then it moves over to her and like curlers. I don't know.
Maybe it's more about, do you create a story versus them having to all be in actual order? Like how important is the story that you're telling through the photographs?
Well, I think that this story is told from the start of the day, like for in this case specifically. I don't think that because Laura did her photos the day before, she would include these photos in the beginning of her album and then start with preparation and then go to her and Billy. So the story is the chronological layout of the day as seen through point A to point B, at least photography-wise, I think. But again, I'm not so artistic. Some people might be like, she so doesn't get it. I probably don't. I don't know, but that's my opinion. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Yes, someone had asked, can you help us figure out some collection structure? Like how are yours structured?
I spoke about that yesterday. Did
Okay.
I not?
Did you?
No. Okay, let's talk about collections on Saturday.
Okay.
I want to keep as much technicality as we can right now so that we head into the wedding. It's going to be the least amount of narration because I am exhausted after just that hour stint out there. So let's try to get as much like grit now, and then we can talk about going to coast mode on Saturday and Sunday, if that's okay. But
That's
we'll
fine.
totally come back to that.
And the same with pricing and that kind of stuff. We're
Yeah,
going to
that
get
stuff.
all to that. Okay. Thank you.
Definitely. Yes, Audrey.
So when we're outside, you asked us to define our photography with 3 words, right?
Yes.
So how did you do that? Because I picked 3 words that I think are mine, right? But how do I know that for sure they are? What did you do to get those words that describe your photography?
I think, okay, that's a really good question because when I would go to photography workshops, which I went to a lot in the beginning, a lot of times they would ask, what are words that describe your photography? And I felt a little bit lost because I'm just trying to find my way here. When I have workshops now, I try to I encourage people, what are 3 words that describe you? Because you then become a manifestation of the photos that you then present to your clients. And though people might disagree, I like to think myself as fun. I don't know, you guys are like, no, not really. Whatever. So I like fresh things. I prefer fresh photography, lifestyle photography, as I'm looking through magazines. That's what I find. What I'm attracted to is that bright, vibrant feel. So what happened was the words that ended up describing my style, my brand, was merely a division of who I was as a person, not necessarily as a photographer. Then it manifested in me as a byproduct of what I really wanted to do. So if you're kind of confused and you're not so sure, take a step back. Just like when Sachin took the control and you're like, let me see the light here for a second. Are those words that describe you, or are they words that describe the person you want to be? If they're describing a person you want to be, it's not genuine. Take a step back, reanalyze. And I didn't start my first year thinking, I'm fun and I'm fresh. Like, it was a metamorphosis. But the earlier you know about it, I think the better it'll be for your business. Totally. Nate.
I just want to, there has been a ton of questions about your slideshows.
Okay.
And a lot of people have asked, what program do you use to make your slideshows, and what do you think of Animoto as well? If
Okay.
that is the program.
Well, the program that I use is through Showit. So it's a Showit slideshow program. And I've used it from the beginning. I can't say anything about Animoto because I've never used it. I'm sure it's great. I've only used Showit, and I know that clients can order a DVD through it, and I can also put it in Facebook. So that has been the reasons why I chose to stick with it. What was the other question?
That was all.
Okay, that was it? Yeah. But thanks for looking out. That was great. Because I want people to be connected, but I keep on looking over and like, are there moments in a wedding that can be spoiled by shooting it? Are there moments that are more important than the photo? Wow, that is a good question. Oh, wow. I don't know if I've been in that. If somebody's getting an argument, I'm not going to shoot it. If somebody's having a disagreement, I won't shoot it. If there's tension, I will not shoot it. I've actually had, like, people come up to me, they're like, oh, look, the cake is melting. It's going to tip. Go shoot it before it falls. Why? I got a nice photo of that picture. I don't want, if the bride doesn't notice that it's tipping over, there's no reason for me to go over there and be like, ha ha, your cake was cheap. No, no, no. If somebody's like, oh, that guy is so drunk he passed out in his own vomit. I'm not going to take a picture of that. If it's an emotional moment that I think will be cherished forever, I will shoot it. If it's a private moment, I hope I'm standing at a distance because of it. I don't ever want to be, I'm never with like the 24 and the father and daughter are like hugging and I'm like, cheek, 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 cheek. You know, I'm hopefully shooting with like the 85 at a distance and letting that moment happen organically. But if it's special to them, I want to shoot it because we forget things. And that's the beauty of the power that we possess. We make memories that people would sometimes forget. So if it's happy and it's loving, I will shoot it. No, go ahead.
Just another one I saw up there that I really liked.
Thank
I had
you.
the same question.
Oh, you.
Okay. Just another one I saw up there that I really liked. I had the same question. Maybe you've touched on this already. If you have, I apologize. But
No.
do you, with your albums, do you have your clients pick those images, or do you just say, hey, I'm the creative genius here. I'm going to pick those images and put them in the album? How does that work with you and your client? 'Cause
Okay, that's a good question. I'm not a creative genius. So I let my clients choose their pictures. My wedding photographer allowed me to choose my pictures, and I think I did an okay job. And when I look back at my wedding album, I would do it differently. You know, now that I'm a professional photographer, I probably wouldn't choose as many pictures as I did. I just happen to love so many of them. I limit my clients to how many photos they can have, but in a preparatory email, when it comes time to build their album, I let them know, please start in the favorites folder, because it'll be a good indication of the type of photography that should be included in your album. My clients are choosing for like a 20-page, 40-side album, they're choosing around 65 pictures. So if they start and they choose at least 20 from my favorites, I'm good to go. Because most of the time, the favorites that I'm showcasing to the clients, the photos that are actually being commented on the blog or on Facebook are will end up in the album. And I'm okay with that. And what they add to it are family formals, any type of friend pictures on the dance floor that I didn't know was valuable for sentimental reasons, things of that nature. So in that sense, I'm okay a lot of the times with the albums that they're producing. A question?
I have a question. When Laura walked in, and they kind of hugged, I teared up. And I was just like, oh, it's so beautiful. I mean, when you're shooting, it's all business. But I mean, are you constantly touched by moments, or are you so in work
No,
mode
I'm
that
a
you're not paying attention?
stone-cold robot.
That's not what I'm I know that you're not.
No, yeah, of course.
But are you like in your mind is in a different place that you're not really, you're trying to capture it, so you're not really,
I would be of
experiencing
no
it?
value to their moment if I valued my emotion over hers. I want to be a part of it, but I cannot be submersed in it. Of course, the pressure that I felt as Laura came in was a pressure that nobody else felt. And I could say that with full confidence, because here was a girl who was sacrificing so freaking much for this event. I feel like I have to give her my right arm. I feel like I have to give her the best flipping pictures that she could ever imagine from this particular location, because she cares about what we're doing. So as she walked in, could you just imagine if I was like, this is so special? Like, no, I have to be like, I am here for you, and I'm going to put myself aside and just think, what can I do to make sure that this moment is as sanctimonious as possible? So yeah, but there are times, especially during toasts, like when the dad is toasting the daughter, there are moments you're just like, because it catches you off guard. You're like, what? Oh,
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I was not expecting that.
Of course. I mean, it's an emotional moment. It's an emotional day. But having that separation is advantageous, totally, because you need to make sure she's taken care of. And I think we're going to probably do, it's 4:53. Laura and Billy are coming back here for the rehearsal dinner, and I want to make sure that we are out of their hair. They have been, and we have been in their business so much, so I want to take care of them. So I will just do a couple more pictures. Questions. No more pictures. A couple more questions, if that is okay. Nate.
Sorry, I just have one more. I have all these questions. I apologize.
No, yeah.
But is the first time your client is seeing their images is it on your blog? Is that the first time they are seeing their own images?
No, if they want to come and see the slideshow that I put together at the reception,
Okay.
they will see them there.
And how often do you do a slideshow at the reception? Well, when you're doing a slideshow, is it something that you ask the bride and groom first, hey, can I do a slideshow at the
I
reception?
tell them that it's included in the collection.
Cool.
And clients are like, great. I don't put it up on a projector, because what I want to do is I want to teach people how to become Jasmine Star evangelists. If I had it up, right, what if I brought this big screen and I'm like, attention everyone, let's slow down the party. Everybody turn, look at the same day edit, everybody watches it. Then they go back to what they're doing. No conversations were started about what that experience was. If I have it up, I usually leave the slideshow on this computer, and I put it up on a bar table just like this, and I usually leave it up by the bar, or if they have a lounge area, I leave it by the lounge, because people who are waiting in line or sitting in a lounge want something to talk about. So anytime that you can create a conversation, so when Auntie gets her glass of Chardonnay and she comes over and she's like watching it, and she's like, wait, what is this? These are pictures from today. What is this? And she sits there and she watches it. Do you think she's going to get her glass of Chardonnay and just walk away? She goes back to her daughter, Laura's cousin, and says, have you seen the photos? Go see the photos. So you you're teaching her how to have a conversation about somebody she doesn't know and has never experienced. That is more valuable than giving exposure and going back. When you teach people how to talk about you is how you create same-day evangelists. And to be quite honest, I want my photos to be the first photos that my clients see. In the digital day and age, what happens is I actually left a wedding and I got tagged in a photo on Facebook on my way home from San Diego back to Orange County. And I was like, dang it, if I hadn't done a same-day slideshow, the very first taste of wedding pictures my clients would have would be from point-and-shoot cameras, when she's all sweaty, at an upward angle, showing a little bit of her like chicken cutlet on the side. That is not fun. I don't want her to have that exposure. I want her wedding experience to be like, I look really good. And that's what I can do on the same day edit. And then shortly thereafter, I post the pictures online, because I have this philosophy about photography. Photography online only does one of two things. It either grows or it shrinks. And if you want something to grow, you have to start a conversation early on. Because when you tag your clients in Facebook early on, it's, oh, these are just the pictures that came out from last weekend. Everybody wants to talk about them. If you're not tagging your clients in photos until 4 or 6 weeks after the event, that's been there, done that. Everybody has seen 350 photos that have already been tagged to the bride and groom on Facebook. Yours are probably better, but they're not new. That's the competition that I feel like that the game that I am in. So that's why it's been super, super, super valuable for me in that respect. Sachin.
Hey, Jasmine.
Yes.
So really quickly, like, what is your kind of workflow? If you've already kind of semi-culled the images during the day or just during the reception or something for the slideshow, then thereafter, what happens on the Sunday, Monday, whatever, so that it's out within 2 weeks or?
Well,
However
the
long.
cull that I do on the same day is nothing. I'm really only culling images that I think would have the propensity to go into the slideshow. So as people are eating, I don't know if I'm going to do a slideshow tomorrow because I mean we experienced how manic things were today. I want to, but remember I never told Laura that I would do one. I don't even know if she wants one. I would talk to the coordinator to see if it was okay, but I'm going to underpromise and overdeliver. If this was my wedding and I didn't have, a lot of cameras here, I probably would do it. I may or may not do it tomorrow. I don't know. But what I'm doing is I'm simply plugging in 2 card readers. I'm looking at 2 cards. I drag them into iView, which is just the gallery device that I use to look at my images. I'm looking, and I'm just tagging the photos that I quickly want to put into the slideshow. I drag just those photos to the desktop. I usually roughly end up with about 60 photos from the cull because I'm only doing from preparation down to the processional as they walk down the aisle. That's where I end the slideshow. So I go through, I quickly pick those pictures, and then I pick my favorites from the 60, which usually ends up being 35 or 40. Now, before, what I would do, I would take a few minutes in Photoshop and do a couple little tweaks in Photoshop on the images. But now, because I try to shoot well from the can, I post the pictures out, unretouched. I change a few of them to black and white, but then I just drop those photos into iPhoto, put it on a slideshow, and put it up on my computer. Because in this audience, well, Laura might have a few photographer friends, so it might be a little intimidating. But they'll probably be drinking champagne and wine and beer. My pictures get better the more you drink. I'm totally okay. I am totally okay with that. Having said that, no, they're on a 3-second time flip. Nobody's sitting there being like, look at the shadows under that eye. I don't know if this black and white is truly black and white. Nobody's sitting there just like, wow, these are pictures from today. How cool. End it like that. Biggest piece of same-day advertising that the bride and groom actually appreciate. That's power. It's free. Hard work. Yes. One more question.
Okay, speaking of your pictures getting better with the booze, a lot of people are asking about alcohol at weddings, people getting drunk, the bride and groom being drunk. I don't know if you want to answer that question either, but
I feel, I can totally answer it.
Okay.
I feel like I have really great party animal clients, but most of my collections are 8 hours. So by the time things are ending, I will have gotten through the toast, I will have gotten through the formal events. There will be about a half hour to 45 minutes of dancing. So in that half hour to 45 minutes, I'm shooting everybody on the dance floor. JD is out there getting older people who are sitting at their tables. So within that half hour, we punch. Then we're out after the cake cutting. So then when people get belligerent and the ties go around the head and the shirts come undone, I'm not getting any of those photos. I think it just works. Totally. Not for everybody. We just have it down to a science. We like to keep things as profitable as possible. We know what we can do in the time amount that we're given. And we'll see that tomorrow, God willing. We'll see. Okay, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I seriously need some carbs. I need some comfort food tonight. I'm like gonna gear up for tomorrow.
Susie Bell photo on Twitter is saying, and I know JD mentioned this earlier as well, that she thinks there should be an Ask Jasmine TV show.
Oh yeah.
Reality TV.
My
TV.
my nerves couldn't handle it. I mean, this has been like the biggest blessing. I've never expected it to be what it is. I had no idea what it would become. I would not be what this day would not be if it wasn't for every single one of you guys standing here before me. You guys have become a pillar for me. When I feel like I can't do this, I will pass the baton. Thank you for stepping up, and the crew. The only reason I look good is the crew. I walk in, and they're just like, here, Jasmine, have some water. Here, Jasmine, can I take your coat? Jasmine, can I grab your bag? I'm like, oh my God. Like when I go home, I'm gonna be like, where's my coffee? Why isn't anybody taking my bag? So no, I'm definitely not ready for that then, but thank you guys for tuning in. I totally appreciate it. I think today has been a smashing success with many thanks to you guys, so thank you.
thank you, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, friends. Good. I think we're good. Okay, great.
I'll let you describe it. I'll just do the technical stuff.
Great. Okay, so, one of my favorite print companies, White House Custom Color. You can find them at Twitter at WHCC Pro. You are going to be getting a standout 20 by 24 luster or metallic print. I've actually had a few metallic prints done. They are amazing, and they're actually standout prints. You will absolutely love them. So for this winner, this is one lucky winner, White House Custom Color, standout 20 by 24, is going to...
I typed all that right?
No, you didn't. This is M-I-N-E. M-I-N-E. Yeah. Great.
Okay. Drum roll.
Jumping Fences from Buffalo, New York. Congratulations.
And jumping
Was my door for to clap when they clap when they do?
No, you can totally clap.
Jumping Fences is the one who had the question about shooting animals at weddings.
Oh, cool.
There you
Good. And look at Katie has a horse, so of course she would ask about the animals. Thank you, Katie. Okay, so the next winner, I'm in love. Kubota Photoshop Actions. They're going to give away a $100 gift certificate for their Photoshop actions. These are the actions that I use the most. These are what I talk about on my blog. I absolutely love them. And better yet, Kevin Kubota, the guy who invented them, is a complete sweetheart. Now he does shooting just for charity. How do you not like a guy like that? So $100 for the next winner, Kubota.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Goes to Michelle from...
I don't know.
I don't know, but Michelle hires.
And there was a question. We were fulfilled by someone else, or do you only offer albums?
Print orders, depending, clients can do it like self-fulfillment, or if you want to do your own prints and package and do all that stuff, White House Custom Color.
This is great, actually. They get to answer the question, and they get their stuff.
Oh, good. Yeah. Great. Awesome. And so this is cool. We're talking about albums. Leather Craftsman, I love them. My album company, they have been total support. Now, side note, this is totally random. When I first started my business, I had no ideas about albums. I was scared out of my mind. I didn't know how to offer them. And so I randomly called Leather Craftsman because they had classes on how to build albums. And I said, listen, I need an album by next month, and I'm in a total pinch. And they said, we're booked out for these classes for 3 months. They said, let me put you in contact with Ira. Now, all these guys are New Yorkers. So I contact Ira, and I'm like, hey, he's like, hi, what do you want? What can I do for you? And I'm like, I just want to learn how to make an album. He's like, come to my house. Where are you based? And I'm like, I'm in Orange County. He's like, I'm in LA. Come to my house. I have a red door. Just knock on it. Come on in. And I was like, okay. So I drove, and I thought, this is a little weird. So I took a friend with me. Like, I don't know this guy. So we walk in. His baby's with the nanny in the back. He's like, how you doing? Like total New York, opens up a cabinet, lays out all these albums and says, let me help you do what you want to do. I have never been so loyal to a company because they took out time out of his hectic schedule to sit with a nobody who had no idea which way was up and explain the process step by step. I will stay loyal to that company because they kept it real from the beginning. Leather Craftsman is giving you a 6x6 3500 style companion album. What I use the companion albums for are guest sign-in books. So these are albums that are flesh mat albums where guests can sign in the margins. I absolutely love them. They're going to get you what I always order, which is a 20-side print and bind from Leather Craftsman. A 6x6 $3,500 companion album goes to Mary Reardon. And her question, if there was a question.
Yeah, started very
That was a nice touch. So Mary, congratulations. You're going to get a 6x6 companion album.
All right. And actually, I grabbed the mic because I actually wanted to, so they teach classes on making albums?
They do.
We should see if they want to broadcast a class on making albums to the whole world.
Yay.
I love it.
So someone write that down in the back, please.
Yeah, and it's not, I mean, they do, actually what they're known for is handcrafting their albums by hand. So they literally hand make their albums, but what they teach photographers are what strong layouts are, what are proper selling techniques and incorporating albums, things of that nature. So I'm sure.
Actually, so I'm getting some thumbs up. If that's something you'd be interested in doing, do we have their Twitter address?
Yes, it's Leather Craftsmen, but they're missing, so it's LEATHERMN. So there's no EN. I was like, why didn't you guys say EN? They're like, it didn't fit with the handle. So it's Leather Craftsman, but there's no, the EN is just MN. And I totally made that confusing. I'm sure I did.
So if someone could figure out how to do that right, and you just want to start flooding them with requests that they should come teach a class at Creative Live, we'll just see what happens.
And they're total New Yorkers. I mean, it's just fun to hear them talk. And they're kind of like, they're rude, but they're nice. Like, what do you want?
New York.
And you're like, okay, and they take good care of you.
We
so.
can work with that.
Yes, they're wonderful. They're wonderful.
All right. Well, I think. Are we done?
I think we're done because I want to get out of here for Laura and Billy.
All right.
Well, thank you.
All right.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
For the guys in the back, go ahead and cut our mics, but go ahead and just leave some B-roll running of us kind of getting everything set up, and then I guess basically we say goodbye to you, Jasmine, and a good portion of us stay here and try to make a wedding work.
Okay.
All right.
Good.
All right,
Good,
thanks. See everybody tomorrow. Which camera's on? Okay. Everybody, we'll see you back here 1 p.m. Seattle time or thereabouts. It will be a completely different production. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it's not going to be about interacting with you. It's not going to be about interacting with Jasmine. It's going to be about voyeuristically watching Jasmine do her work in a live wedding, and that may mean we're going to ignore the internet for large sections of time, but basically tomorrow is all about Billy and Laura. So, you know, we've heard Jasmine talk about what she's going to do. Tomorrow we get to see her attempt to pull it off. So. No, I mean we're
That vote of confidence.
no. I mean, this is live. I mean,
No,
the
I
thing is,
know.
you know, we will talk about it in the past tense on Saturday, but on Thursday, you know, we can only talk about what we hope is going to happen.
Yes,
Yeah.
true.
All right.
True.
Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.
And let us know what.
And good night from Seattle. We'll see you tomorrow, Adam. You're coming up.
All right.
And heck of a day, huh?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well, a little bit
We
sore.
are.
A little bit sore, a little bit tired, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
you
I think
know.
everyone's ready to go.
One more
home
day to
and
go tomorrow.
Take a sleep and have a wedding tomorrow.
I'm working off a leave right now, actually. That's how we're getting through the days. But again, everybody around the world, thank you so much for being with us. You're what make us successful here at Creative Live and allow us to do what we do. So again, thank.
I totally mind.
Okay, we're gonna change it.
I'm just kidding. I don't care. I totally don't care. Like that's the not cutest picture of me, but that's okay. Look at it. Is that how big my mouth is when I laugh? Oh my God! You can see my cavities. I'm pretty sure. And my molars. Oh my Lord. Oh, that's a really good picture of you at the end.
Not really.
I'm just saying.
Little iPhone picture.
That's cute. I love it. Cute.
So are we still?
Yeah, I wanted to post a picture of Jasmine with the big reflector, and then I'm like, should I?
Yeah, you're like, I'm
Should
just 4 days
I?
in there.
Yeah, I opted not to.
Keep
I
it under your
posted a
good
different
side.
one. Yeah.
Thank you.
With like a caption underneath, Jasmine demonstrating how she shoots every wedding.
Oh, right. Thanks. That would have been awesome.
Are we still supposed to talk amongst ourselves? Or?
So yeah. Craig, are we going to go through the introductions
We are going to go through the introductions.
right now?
Go through. Yes. So yes. Sorry.
Oh.
Yes.
And I don't need to reintroduce the idea?
Nope.
Okay, great. So
Okay.
Nate,
Awesome. My name is Nate Perks. I am from Idaho, and my Twitter handle is @NatePerks. It's NatePerkes. I just put a blog post on this morning that you can go check out. It's www.perksphotography.blogspot.com, and that's again it's PERKES photography.blogspot.com.
All right, I am Stephanie Miller from the Los Angeles area, and my Twitter handle is smillerphotos with an S at the end. And my blog is in limbo right now.
I was like, .com?
It's smillerphotos.com. It'll be up later tonight. The hotel internet is not the best.
Yeah, it's challenging for sure. I'm Victoria from Montreal. I don't know where I should be looking. Look at you.
Okay. Hi.
My Twitter handle is @KatChick, and I posted a blog last night as well at 3 in the morning Seattle time. Because I know I couldn't sleep, and I'm like typing. Yeah, so I posted a blog, and my blog is victoriasperspective.com.
Hey guys, my name's Sachin Kona. My Twitter handle is @SachinKona, which is SACHINKHONA. And my blog is www.sachinkona.com.
I just
Yes,
feel like
guys.
I want you to talk all day. Your blog is Victoria's Perspectives?
Perspective, without an S.com.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and I'm Audrey Smith. My Twitter handle is Audrey Smith Photo. So it's AudreySmit. And don't laugh, because my blog is my personal blog, and the title is thefrenchimport.blogspot.com. And I posted the blog post about yesterday too.
Oh, good. Good. Awesome.
Cool.
I can't get to your blog. I don't know why.
Oh, that's bizarre.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. So.
Okay, I think we're good on sound levels. All right, so are you guys in the booth ready to go through our countdown? Can you hear me, Adam? And folks on the internet, can you hear me? What type of Kenna, Susan? What type of feedback are we getting in terms of the sound on the internet?
People in the chat room are saying.
So yeah, so Kenna, so Susan,
Sorry.
pick up your mic.
People in the chat room are saying they can hear us. Sounds good.
All right, good, cool. All right, so we're going to do our intro. It is still the long one from yesterday. I'm going to try to go through it faster. Jasmine and I will do less back and forth.